oil, I say if them drink the oil, no matter how them try, Nigeria will survive. I roost them strong for ground, ancestors no go gree, Nigeria will survive. The God of thunder and lightning, unite and shield Nigeria, Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will survive, Africa will survive, my people will survive, Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will survive, Africa will survive, my people will survive, Nigeria will survive. Stay and build your country, Nigeria will survive. Now who go die for you? God is thicker than water, Nigeria will survive. If Andrew doing work, and me I do my own, Nigeria will survive. If our leaders do them best, Andrew goes straight to help, Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will survive, Africa will survive, my people will survive, Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will survive, Africa will survive, my people will survive, Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will survive, Africa will survive, my people will survive, Nigeria will survive. Nigeria will survive, Africa will survive, my people will survive, Nigeria will survive.
Hello, good evening, world. Well, welcome to the 6th edition of Post COVID-19 Nigeria What Next series. Today we have quite an interesting topic. Last week it was awesome. It was open mic season, and we had 3 persons in the house. Today we have a special guest with us, and of course, he needs no introduction, but for many who don't know him, he's Eugene Abels, popularly known as the corporate Rasta. And I would just love us to give a resounding post-COVID-19 welcome. Mr. Abels, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very, very much. So we'll just dive straight into it. Of course, you need no introduction, but to those who don't know you, you are a very, very good friend of mine. You've been my mentor, especially for this topic I will be, exploring today for like close to 2 decades and counting. I had always looked forward to our discussions, and I'd never left any, without this wealth of knowledge. And for those who don't also know our relationship, you've been the erstwhile chairman of 2 groups I belong to, the Oval Table. Our political conversations were bar none, and of course the 5th column. Of course, times and seasons have just caused us to evolve, but you still remain someone whose words and pearls of wisdom I don't take for granted. So today our topic is what next for the body language of leadership. The body language of leadership. I famously remember our conversations a couple of years ago when you also used to talk about the rolled up sleeve approach. And of course, our yearning for the kind of leadership where the words of our leaders match their body language. It's one thing to be saying something, your intentions, your actions, are different from your words. So without much ado, I want you to take us a journey on the body language of leadership, where it's been thus far and where we hope to see it evolve into as we step out of this post COVID-19 or the COVID-19 season and step into a new era. You're welcome, Mr. Abels.
Thank you. Thank you, Lily.
Yes. So you can go ahead. You have the stage now. Like I said, I'm here to learn even more today. So,
Can you
and
take
please,
what
for me,
you said last?
yes.
Can you
What
repeat
do you
yourself?
say? Yeah.
Can you repeat yourself?
I said we are all here today to learn, and it might interest you that there are people who will be sending in questions, and you may likely have ad hoc guests coming to the studio to have a tete-a-tete with you. So I'm already seeing people, patching in. There's even somebody who is already in the waiting room. Hopefully, when it's time, we'll decide when he comes in. So just go right ahead, Eugene. You have the floor. Talk to us about the
Okay.
body language of leadership.
Um, Leadership. Sometimes people are born into it. Most times you need to acquire the necessary skills to attain it. Leadership in every facet of our lives, whether it be in our faith, whether it be in the family, whether it be in society, whether it be in the village, whether it be in interest groups like professional bodies. There must be somebody who is in charge, and the person who is in charge is supposed to lead, they give direction so that the common objective of that group is achieved. The same thing is applicable. So so even in the family, that's why you see there's a conflict of the man is the head of the house because he's expected to do some of the, he's expected to ensure that there's a constant flow of resources into the house, while Madame ensures that the details are achieved. And when both are brought together, both of them as leaders of the family will achieve the desired objectives, which
Mm-hmm.
concerns procreation, which concerns the upbringing of the children, character, integrity, and other things, and building capacity. Because before those kids get to the gate called JAMB,
Mm-hmm.
society, family will have prepared them for like 13 years before they get there. So the gate in front of University of Port Harcourt looks very big, but it's supposed to be a very narrow gate. Yes, but unfortunately, where we are today in Nigeria, Nigeria keeps reducing the pass mark to enter that narrow gate, which is
Mm-hmm.
not the standard globally. So we should leave the devil alone. He's not responsible for whatever substandard services or leadership we will get, because that's what you have sought out for yourselves. 19, my professor just passed on, Professor Kimso Koko, God bless his soul. In 1982, when he told me my jam score was 265, and he said I was lucky to read political science and administration as at that time. Today,
Mm-hmm.
for you to get to university, then we didn't have computers. Today, in this global era, the era of STEM, Nigeria is reducing pass back to 150. We're such a joking nation. I'm done so that you can flow.
Exactly. Having said this, what you just pinned on is you're telling us right now that while we're talking about things getting better, in actual facts, things are getting worse. If you talked about when you did your jump, the jump score. In fact, as a matter of fact, I saw this meme, I think like 2 days ago, when somebody was saying what the cutoff mark for one state was, the cutoff mark for another state, and then the number of people that were admitted into a particular profession from the state that had the worst of cutoff points was higher than that of the state that had the, you know, higher cutoff points. And I begin to wonder, first thing I want us to talk about in body language of leadership, do we truly, as a nation, are our leaders conveying the language that truly Nigeria is one unified state where everything, let's forget this issue about federal character, where what is good for the geese or the goose is good for the gander. Are our leaders, their body language, is it really saying this? Or are they saying one thing and actually executing something else?
Yeah, basically, when it comes to if it comes to threatening the territorial integrity called Nigeria, the
Mm-hmm.
political class, they will come together. They are very unified when it comes to that. The reason being that they do not want any disruptions to the flow of resources which they manage. Now, when it comes to issues about whether their body language, they don't care. It doesn't mean anything to them. So, how many kids have you seen fly, hold our flag proudly? There's one nation where you go to, there's no nation like that nation. It is called United States of America. You see
Mm-hmm.
people putting massive flags in their houses, big ones. Yes, because they believe in their nation. They have their challenges too, but they believe in their nation and in their flag and in their stripes and in the stars that they see on them. And they're ready to die for it.
So
Here
wait,
we just keep saying that.
are you trying to tell me that, are you now saying that the body language of our leaders does not convey empathy at all? Does not convey likability, like with all the things they've been saying all this time? Mr. Eugene, are you saying that there are no Nigerians? We're turning 60 in the next couple of weeks. No Nigerian that would truly carry that flag and say, I love this country. My leaders have given me reason to be ready to die for this country if I should. Because if you say in the United States, people are ready to fly their flags, do this, and we are not ready to do it in Nigeria, what then is the reason? Let's forget this thing we say, oh, corruption, this, that. We all know that. But what then is the real reason? What are our leaders, what message are they passing to us that we don't think Nigeria is good enough to be proud of?
It's the first of all, you'll be 60 soon, and I'd like to ask you. I'll still answer your question.
I don't know.
Is Nigeria a developing or developed nation?
Well, my viewers, we're throwing it out to you. Mr. Eugene is asking. No, really, because I'm just here as a facilitator.
How can a child for 60 years, the child was named developing for 60 years, that child is still being classified as developing, meaning the child is still creeping. The child never stand, he never begin waka. Concerning the leadership,
But
there's
wait,
no,
no, can I say something? Contrary to what is being said here, there are among certain classes, they believe Nigeria is developed. They will tell you America is 200 and something. After all, we're just turning 60. We never try.
you're supposed to learn from the errors of those people and the
Mm-hmm.
amount of resources you have managed. Others who have had less have done better. So normally this argument, you could hold on to it, but when you look towards Malaysia, when you look towards Brazil, don't forget that all through my university years and 10, 20 years after, the number one most indebted nation was Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
They turned it around to become aircraft manufacturers, tank manufacturers, weapons manufacturers. By 2009, when I went to Brazil, every filling station had an ethanol pump. By then, oil had not been found in Brazil.
2009.
Yeah, 2008 or so, that time, 7 to 8 or
Wow.
so. So by the time they found, because they had invested about $2 billion at then for an alternative source of energy, so they didn't need to die on PMS, premium motor spirit, aka petrol. As at
Mm-hmm.
that time, eventually oil was found in Brazil. So you can't hear this story, this misnomer which you hear that you're at 60, you're still exporting raw material.
Exporting. Hmm.
Raw material. You're not exporting processed material. Meanwhile, the older, if you process locally, there's sufficient need for you to make profit. You can service your neighbors. You're even importing now from Niger. Remember when the foundation for that refinery in Niger was built, and
Mm-hmm,
that for
mm-hmm.
Cote d'Ivoire? We are an undeveloped baby that is still crawling.
Hmm.
I think I'll probably say that this baby has a condition.
And that condition is,
The baby no gree, pikin no gree grow, no
oh
gree waka.
my goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Consider
And
this thing.
when it comes to issues of our leaders, that if they are flying the flag properly, it is
Mm-hmm.
not sufficient to have the flag on your car. I remember as a kid growing up, when Gowon, the head of state, a 30-year, 35-year-old boy,
Was quite
was
young then,
coming.
quite young.
Oh, yeah. When he was coming to Port Harcourt, if your parents did not allow you go and stand on the road to wave the Nigerian flag, you will cry for the whole week. When our governor, a 24-year-old boy, Spiff,
Yeah, the spiff.
yes, he's riding past on his horse, we all go and stand and be hailing because we believed in our green, white, green. That was everything for us. October 1st, if you were not allowed, if you don't
Under
make
the
the,
rain.
yeah, if you don't make the matching team, then everything now has been reduced to naira and kobo. Everything has been reduced to brick and mortar. The fundamentals which hold societies and nations together we have jettisoned. Is it that we have not created bureaucracies for them? We have. You remember war against indiscipline was supposed to spike
Exactly.
patriotism. Remember, you have this one now that still
Operation
exists.
Feed the Nation. Mamsa.
That's the food, MAMSA.
We
Yeah,
had Mamsa. We had Mamsa.
Organization of Youth and Social, whatever, whatever. Then you have the
Yes.
one that is in existence now. What is it called? There's one that took over from MAMSA. So those are even entities that had been created to drive patriotism, to
Mm-hmm.
make people rally around the flag. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
going to happen. That cannot happen if the message and signals people are getting is that the country does not matter. What matters is personal interest, sectional
Personal
interest.
interest. Exactly.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking here, somebody's, or rather making a
Self-aggrandizement.
statement. And I want to know whether you agree with it and how it concerns Nigeria and how we can just say something in this instance, and that's Wabiye. He's saying the leadership of a nation is a reflection of the people. You said when we're younger, I mean, because I was in that generation of people who would go to the stadium, people who would stand on the road and wave flags, people who would go under the rain and all that. So, are you now saying that at that point, our leaders were what are doing this because they had our best interest at heart? So if Wabiye now is saying the leadership of a nation is a reflection of the people, you know,
Not really.
he's yes,
It's
that's what I
not
was asking because
the
is
people
he
are
not
not the
saying
people are
we
not.
are the to blame for why they act
Yeah,
this way?
let me give you an example. Growing up
Yes.
as a child, there were kids you knew that would be class monitor. When you
Yeah.
see them, you know their uniform they dirty.
Hmm.
Yeah, so naturally, so when you see them, and depending on how stern, how rigorous the class monitor is, the class is normally quiet because of leadership. Because if you fall out of line, he's going to write your name or she's going to write your name, and they'll submit it. Yeah,
That's
so
true.
and you know you cannot induce or bribe or threaten because they're sound, they're good sportsmen. Normally, those you just see them; they're very sound people.
You straight arrow kids,
You just see them, yeah. So people, the people by themselves, they say, look, we don't want this multicolored thing. We want direction. So we're electing you to give us direction. That's why we employ you to give us direction. So as we
Mhm.
employ you, you're supposed to take us to the next level. Tell us what you're planning. what this is our guidebook, which we have given to you, aka Constitution. You look at it, do a peer review, what your contemporaries are doing, and where you want to be. Then you lead the people. You lead the people. So we also give you a cane to enable you to whip people into line if
Into
things are
shape,
not
yeah.
done. Then in order for you not to beg, we provide money for you. So what else do you want? Why do you want to blame us, the people? The only blame of the people is that we have not made a demand on them. But right now, where we currently stand, whether we like it or not, the best are not the people ruling Nigeria. I'm sorry to say it.
No, yeah, you just said something. In fact, thank you. Demola just gave us the
Yes,
name we were looking
yes,
for. National Orientation Agency.
yes,
National
please.
Orientation Agency, yes. So, like you just used the analogy of a class prefect or class monitor. If you remember, let me just take us back to biblical times when Israel said they wanted a king. Remember, because
Yeah.
they needed leadership, and they now looked out for someone who was tall. He had the gates, and all of that, and he became that leader. And soon they found out that leadership was not just in size, you know, and they now understood they had to look for other things in a leader. So even as class monitors, when I think we used to vote for them. I think we used to vote for class monitors back in the
The
day.
time they were imposed on us, they don't let you vote for them. They appoint them.
No,
You
okay, no,
said you will agree.
no, let me tell you, it's these days that the children, all these Ajebota children, they do election for class president. Yes. In those days, the teachers used to impose,
They
they used
just
to
appoint
impose,
president, and you said
yes.
automatically you just know that there's
Very
power here.
good. So remember, that's how God just used to impose people on Israel. But even then, most of the people that were imposed also failed them. When you talk about the people not demanding, are you suggesting a kind of revolt? Because you know what? I think in a way what Wabie said makes sense. Probably because we have been, we find ourselves poverty stricken. And when I say we, I'm talking about the generality. That's why an election comes up and they give you money. You take it, you vote for them. Whether you know what they have to offer, whether they have nothing to offer, that, you know, gratification you get from whatever they give you, you take it. Or you are promised a position, so you vote them in. Are you not to blame for whatever they do there at the end of the day? Because like I had somebody who came here a couple of weeks ago and he said, see, once I give you money to vote for me, you can't demand anything from me again. The money I gave you was enough for me to get in there and for me to take care of you. But I'm not under any obligation to do outside of this for you. Won't you blame the people in that sense, Mr. You? Won't you blame them in that sense?
The statement made by Wabi on two levels. First level, that the people are responsible for what they see. I do not agree. On the other level of it, the people, by refusing to make a demand on the system, whether you collected money or not, you have been employed. If you're supposed to pay school
Okay.
fees, to pay salaries, you
Mm-hmm.
bloody go and pay that salary. If you don't pay the bill, we shut down the city. We make it, you are our employee. We don't come and tell you, His Excellency, you have, thank God, God bless you for graciously paying salaries.
No, but you see
You're
it happen. You
like
see
a
it
prince.
happen.
It happens because you have
It's
lost your sense of
happening.
business.
Somebody
You have
dug a
lost your
borehole and you are thanking him for building a borehole. It's
exactly.
supposed to be. It's supposed to be part of.
According to vitamin C, do you thank an ATM for dispensing money?
When it's your money that was in there to start with.
Not even your money. That's his job, to vomit money. You press the button, he gives you the money.
No wonder they call some men ATM, some fathers are ATM. All they do is they have to be bringing out money. But what you're saying here makes a lot of sense, Mr. Abels, because I think we have to have a mind shift as well. You know, We
People have
must
stopped
begin to
thinking.
have, yes, we must have a growth mindset. See what somebody here says, Emeka Ezekwe, and I think
Yeah,
I'll post it. So I don't know if you saw it. It says, we have
yeah.
a problem of arrested development. Ours is a country in transition with so much hope and wonderful people, but got hijacked by political hoodlums. We are more or less under a political bondage, a state captured by a class of vicious politicians who know how to capture political power, and he goes on and on. Then the question is,
They forgot to
who
add, they have even perfected the art of, they've perfected the art of weaponizing poverty. It's a deliberate state policy that's been on since 2003, and they've perfected it. Yes, they
yeah, I remember you
deliberately,
used to say that back in the day. Yes, you
yes,
used to say that.
and it's nothing worse, and it's based on the 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. They've
Yes,
weaponized
yeah.
poverty so that the people are in bondage mentally, and they're hungry, and they're in bondage, and they stop thinking. And this hunger thing, I keep telling people, by 1970, 79, 69, 70, 71, 72, light no dey Port Harcourt, water
Hmm.
no dey. All of us get lights for hair, everybody get crocro. If you had malaria, they will give you Acom, shut up. If you don't, then
What's that? What's that?
they'll give you oil, they'll give you SM salts. None of that. Your
Wow.
temperature will hit 220 degrees. Yeah.
Wow.
For 1 week, you won't be able to eat. So if you suffer, we have
Wow.
so you're afraid to talk because you're afraid, you say you're hungry. You will die in the hunger. If
Wow.
River State had kept quiet,
Wow.
we had not remain perpetually closed. Me and you, and then we played in the refinery system. Is there
Yeah,
any
we did.
justification I got to be down? And people are being paid salaries. They're living
That's
their
that's
lives as if
that's that's
three
that's
major
another
SBUs
story
with
in
over
itself.
9,000 people. Each of them, Kaduna incurred end revenues of 1 million naira and spent over 60 something billion, meaning that Kaduna Refinery incurred liabilities for Nigeria in excess of 65 billion without only producing nothing. Port
Nothing
Harcourt
at the end of
Refinery,
the
the same
day.
thing. Port Harcourt Refinery, the same thing. Warri Refinery, same thing. Now, they were made SBUs so that they will be profitable. So people are being trained, people are going for promotion, people are being paid high holiday allowances, people are just lounging, awarding contracts because you cannot incur in liabilities of 5 billion if you're not awarding
Without if something
contracts.
is
If
not
you,
happening, yes. Yes,
yeah.
liabilities cannot
So
be
we
incurred if
are
something is not
we're a
happening.
mad nation, we're mad people. We know
But the thing is
well.
this, but the thing is this, this is the thing, this is the thing, Mr. Abels. Yes, we know we are not well. But you see, if all we do, perpetually is to identify the issue, identify the challenge, what then is the hope for us as a nation? See, that's
One
one
thing
of the reasons.
I have said severally this year that President Muhammad Buhari is not the young man we met that came to meet us in 1983. So when you wanted
Exactly.
to put him, I said no, he's not that young anymore because I have been exposed to the public sector. He cannot go through 5,000 files. He doesn't have that energy. Well,
Somebody
he
is
is there.
asking, where do we go from here? Where do we go from here?
President Buhari is there now, and I have been saying from throughout the pandemic period that President Buhari needs to save his name. By saving his name, he needs to set up management committees, one for security, one for the economy, one for health and social services, one for job creation and employment. And if you're in that committee, I have three nominees.
Management
You can
committee,
name
just a second. The management committee for the different sectors, health,
security,
security,
the
yeah,
economy, the economy, health,
economy,
employment,
employment,
job, job creation and employment.
yeah.
Now, my nominees, I have 3 nominees. You might quarrel
Okay.
with them, but he has to choose his own to join them. We're not supposed
Mm-hmm.
to nominate people who you like. Number 1 for me is Abubakar Omar. Number 2,
But
Wole
which are you
Soyinka.
when you are
No,
nominating them? Are you
names that will
nominating
move.
them for their portfolios? Are you putting them in
No, not
portfolios
yet.
already?
Not yet.
Okay.
We're nominating them for capacity. So that when they
Okay.
tell you
So
good morning will be good morning.
when you say
Abubakar,
Shoyinka doesn't have the benefit of youth because we're talking about youth here as one of the parameters.
I agree. But what it means that when I'm pushing him towards the educational sector, you cannot take any
Okay.
substandard. You cannot take
So
anything substandard.
the education sector is part of the management committee.
Everybody. I'm just giving you
Okay.
3 nominees that must be in anything you want to
Okay.
do.
Okay.
Atedo Peter
Okay.
and Atedo
Shoyinka
Peter.
and who?
Abubakar Umar,
I took his name
Atedo,
already. Peter Side.
Atedo,
Okay.
yeah. Uh-huh. And Bismarck, the Bismarck man. So I have several others I can add,
Which
but
man?
like
Which other man? Which other man? Which other man?
Bismarck, the derivatives man, Bismarck. I
Bismarck. Okay.
remember.
Yeah.
Mm.
I know. I know. I know.
Yeah, what I'm simply saying is that, like now, the president needs to save himself from his political associates, his family members, and politicians generally. Now, the
Okay.
reason is
Quick
this.
one. Quick one. Mr. Bells. So right now, what you're now giving us now is the antidote to all these things we've been talking about. So management
Yeah,
committee. Yes. So if the things I know you're still going to talk now, the things you're listing now, you're saying if the things you are listing and about to keep listing are dealt with, then we can say the body language will now be the same as intention and all of that, right?
right now, there's no even body language.
No, there is a body language already, but the
There
body
is
language,
none. So who's dancing now? You're not. If I ask you what is the president's position on foreign policy, what will you tell me?
he's looking through a telescope.
Uh, or will
Don't mind
you
me,
think,
don't mind me.
uh,
Continue. I'm listening. I'm
yes,
listening
so,
keenly. Trust me, I'm listening.
yes, for me, the president right now, he needs to save himself.
Okay.
Yesterday, the vice president and the minister of state for foreign affairs went to Mali for the ECOWAS meeting. That's a
Yes, yes,
strong,
they did yesterday.
that's a strong representation. Good luck, Jonathan went for that one, good one. So we need something like that for security. We cannot
Okay.
continue this. No, we cannot. The president is not on ground. And so the security chiefs will tell him the things he want to hear. But if there's a management team that know that they will be fired if they don't deliver, because everybody sits down to hear presentation, there will be no secrets. Who are the people killing people? Tell us. Where are they getting their arms? Who is funding them? There shouldn't be secret. Those things shouldn't be secret by now. So that anybody playing in that sector, people know them. They become uncomfortable. Society becomes too small for them. Now, if you come,
Can I quickly ask you something?
yes,
Can I just quickly ask you something, please, Mr. Ebels? When you say these things, it's beginning to sound as if these people you talk about have never been in the center of the eye of the storm, so to speak, in dealing with things Nigerian. We've had people like, I'm not trying to cast aspersion on any of the characters, right? But I'm saying we've had people like Shrinka who was brought in for FRSC back in the day. And
yeah.
it's not as
And
if any
you remember what they
profound.
were. No, you
No,
remember what they
I'm
were.
coming. I'm coming to something. Yeah, yeah. They were good and all of that, but I'm coming somewhere. He hasn't been without his issues. But I'm saying, even if you set up this management committees as you are proposing, the president picks it up and sets them up. Do you think the usual? I don't want to call them cabal. I would like to call them. I don't want to call them fit columnists because that's what we call ourselves. Let's say there are this set of people somewhere. I don't know if it's a myth. I don't know if it's reality. Who would usually hijack the
Let me just help.
process?
Let me help you.
Help
The
me. Help
reason,
me.
the reason for the committees, these management committees, is so that we can do measurements every week,
Okay.
public measurements. So if you
The
like,
same
do
way this
cabal.
guy was doing with NCDC. The same thing this guy was doing
Yes,
with the
the
this
measurements
thing,
are clear, statistics are
COVID
available.
response.
You see the
Okay.
wonderful work National Bureau of Statistics they've been doing. Wonderful work.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the data, the statistics are there. River State unemployment for 3%. If you set up management team to generate employment, at the end of the week, we'll know how many jobs were created. And you see the
Okay.
benefit,
Okay.
you see the beneficiaries. So it's not voodoo. It's not you go and share $200 million in market, say you're doing market money. No, not that kind of
Okay.
rubbish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the essence of the
Oh,
management team, so that the
Jesus.
president can keep wearing his white agbada,
There's elements
the
of
yes, and so they come back. He's seen his results. So if there is going to be fight, they'll fight in the committees. Then the disagreements will be there because the cabals we want to hijack, but it won't work because you need to do public presentation. If you say you did the road, okay, this is the photograph of the road. It has not been done. There's a drone shot of it. And nowhere, point to point in Nigeria, nowhere is more than 2 hours by air. So we can reach
exactly.
anywhere. Yeah, so
And
there's no
this
grammar. So if we fed children and people were locked in for pandemic, where are the list? Show us their parents, their minors. We just sit there now will
you
bring
know,
them out. These are not
but this
difficult.
thing this thing wasn't this thing
The
wasn't rocket
judiciary, we just
science.
do the judiciary, when did this case come before you? Why is it taking 10 years? We do a turnaround time. We need to, okay, you, Judge Honorable, your worship, Nene, okay, let's look at the cases that your average turnaround time for your cases. We've seen that over 5 years, there's a trend that all your cases, no, everyone takes 20 years, and you've not given judgment. So go and rest. They remove you, bring young
Okay,
people. People come people,
I'm
not
beginning to
necessarily
understand your
young,
train of
competent
thought.
people. Yeah. So now
I'm actually
the
beginning to understand your
exercise
train of
now,
thought now.
they begin to interrogate the process. Right now, there's no form of interrogation. There are no sanctions. There are no
But
rewards.
can I quickly ask you a question, Mr. Abels? Are people not going to say that this is not a democratic system?
It's even more
This is not, it's
democratic
not,
than
no,
democracy.
no,
Why?
you know one thing they're going to say, because it's opening certain areas to scrutiny. Because I think if possibly maybe we had like a kind of what do you call it, a kind of state of emergency, a pseudo state of emergency, maybe people will accept that, okay, this kind of management committee is in place will be good. But when you start doing this, when people complain, the same people that it's supposed to benefit, some of them will begin to complain.
When you naturally, when there's change, people complain. But when they see consistency and you're transparent about it, people fall in line. Nigerians don't like trouble. They'll just fall in line. Once they
Okay,
are
somebody is
sure,
watching. Yeah, continue, continue,
once they are sure
continue.
that what is good for the goose, you apply to the gander, they just fall in line. If you remember
Hmm.
that the 5 or 6 years of Jonathan, is it that they didn't have economic issues? They had, but because there was a champion there called Ngozi Weller, she was able to manage the.
Exactly.
Yeah. So you need to manage your process. Right now, what is happening now is that too many people are doing the things which they want to do. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the president is involved in those things. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Somebody said that we need to reform our political system. If you like, bring the White House here. Nigerians will abuse it. Yes, the issue
Oh
there
God.
is about leadership. And the Nigerian president is the most powerful president in the world because he can change your life in overnight. Donald Trump
You
can't
know, I'm
change your
seeing
life.
something here. I'm seeing
Yeah.
something here, Mr. Abels. Somebody is like saying, disagree with Mr. Abel on the solution. It is not about Buhari or any individual. The solution lies, okay, you just started talking about it, in reforming our political system. Our
If
present
you
system makes it
like,
impossible.
you have
Yes.
tried
So,
parliamentary. Once you don't
Emeka,
see,
if you are listening to us, let me just
Nene,
quickly, Emeka, if you're listening to us, can
Nene,
you come on? Go ahead, Mr.
Nene,
Abels, please.
the difference why the banks do well in Nigeria, while the oil sector do well. Why telecoms is doing well. They measure. There's measurement. There's accountability. You account for
Okay.
your time. Yeah, you account for your time. Go to the secretariat in Port Harcourt. Do they go to work? Go to the federal secretariat. Yeah. Do you account for it? So,
Oh my
because if they go
goodness.
to work, why have teachers not been paid their promotion arrears? That means there's no clear-cut career path. So there's failure in
No
the system.
clear-cut
People
path
are
at all.
abusing the system. Yeah. If you read the demands by NLC to River State government, you'll be amazed. If you saw, even took God to intervene when Satan said he was setting the exam of COVID-19. God told Satan to remove Nigerians' name. That said, can't you see that they're quarreling with their doctors?
So would have just all perished. I guess
Yes,
so.
they are very unserious people. Remove their name. Do you quarrel with your soldiers in time of war? So
No.
this system, if you make me president, I will turn it around. I don't need more states. I don't need anything. Do you know what it means if I call for a meeting of the governors on regional basis? I fly to Kaduna, sit down, call the governors there, say, come, I need your, how are we going to create jobs here? What do you need? Give me your shopping list. How do we create jobs so that people have jobs? Whether you're PDP, APC, nothing. You sit down and I make it public. So you, the governor, you're under pressure. I'm going to come back in a week's time for you to tell us practically how we are going to. We're ready to support you. If we have to borrow, we borrow.
He may have the will, but I don't think he has the capacity
No,
at this
I'm
moment.
not blaming
He's not too young.
Buhari. There's nothing wrong in being old. I know he fell sick too. What I'm saying, he does not have that kind of energy
He
for
doesn't
that
have the
kind of,
energy.
for
Yeah,
this,
for that
for
kind
where
of
we are.
where we're going
In the
headed
state
to.
of
Yeah.
affairs right now, the president does not have that kind of energy, so he needs support. But the support has to be coordinated.
Okay.
Yeah, ideally, it would
Okay.
have been the vice president to run it, but people will say, oh, he wants to be president. So certain people will be afraid that he's getting too much
Yeah.
power to his
Yeah.
advantage.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We can't keep complaining. I'm talking about the way forward. Yes, you need to
Thank you. And
set
that's
up.
what we're here for. Yeah.
Yeah, you need to set up management teams for sectors of the economy and face them squarely, and so that those people account and they are given clear mandates, measurable mandates. Look at what NCDC do, and everybody keyed it, and they did so well, so well. Yeah.
Are you not sure? Are you
Because
not sure because our lives were at stake? That's why we were like, throwing every line of every instruction.
important thing
Because you
is
must
that
consider that we did it.
that NCDC man who took the bull by the horn, took the first step. His health minister joined. He built the
Yeah.
house. Yeah, everybody loved it, and they maintained it and even expanded on it. That's how it should be. Somebody will start it,
Exactly.
yes, and everybody will follow suit. But this one, everybody knew that there was a natural sanction for non-performance, which will be death. So everybody was falling in line, yeah, and behaving themselves.
Exactly.
So
Can I just ask you this question? Somebody just asked here. It says, what if the body language in security, that's in the security sector, gives impetus to a particular set or group of people? Whoever and whatever management committee will fail. For me, let's strengthen our institutions. And I know from the past, you've always told me that we should
all
stop this thing about saying institutions.
those are big grammar. I'm a political scientist. All this story
Yes, you've always
about,
told me we should leave this institution.
if I appoint you, I will give you clear targets. If there's an attack and you don't justify why it happened, I sack you. I do not just sack you. I might have to prosecute if I find out that my materials, that attack happened because materials that were supposed to get there, which you have paid for, didn't get there. You will end up in jail.
Is that democracy? I'll still
It
come
is
back to that.
democracy. You account for your
Okay.
service. I didn't invite you to come and wear uniform to do October 1st. There's a situation. It comes with your job. If you don't want to get soil, get out of the kitchen. Yes, you get out of the kitchen. In the bank, we give you a car. On Friday, we ask you, are you ready for Monday? What did you do this week? You say you're going to do A, B, C, D.
That's
We want to hear
accountability.
Yes, call the name.
Accountability.
So if there's an attack,
Account-
why did it happen? Where was intelligence? Do you know how many intelligence
accountability.
agencies we have? Are you aware that each arm of government, each of the security forces have their own peculiar intelligence agency? Why? Who is coordinating it? How
And you know
many
this
times?
thing you're saying.
How many times in these 5 years have you heard the National Security Advisor brief the nation? Is he not supposed to be the coordinating minister for security?
Yeah, yeah, sure. And
So is
especially
it
with
happening?
all
Is
these
it
upheavals
happening?
we have, you know,
Is it
it's not
happening?
happening. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's not happening. And you know this thing you're saying, with all these flashes, of violence, we should actually have the National Security Advisor come on, if it's not, even if it's not weekly, every fortnight, to brief
Once,
us about the state of security.
yes, and what they're doing and what he's doing about it. He's looking so
Okay,
far
see,
ahead.
Emeka is saying something here, and like, I just would love anybody, because when I keep on reading these things, Mr. Abels is here, he's giving us his own 2 cents on what needs to be done. And if for everything he says, it's been, want somebody shuts it down. If you may, because we're engaging here, if you can come up and like for 10 minutes or 5 minutes, say it to him, and he gives you like his own bird's eye view of what it is he means by what he's saying. Because you see, if we keep on saying like what Emeka is saying here, he says the political system that brought out someone like Buhari without participating in presidential debate is faulty. It's called survival by luck and all of that. We cannot remove the fact that we know that all these issues exist in Nigeria. I will always talk about the cabal. In any right thinking society, there's no reason why a presidential debate should not hold. But should that be enough to determine whether somebody would be proactive or will be successful in governance? No. Even if we overlook that aspect and he now became president, there is a, I mean, it's an obligation that he has to us as his people, the people he fought so hard for. How many times he had to go to the ballot to now come to govern. So if suggestions like this come up, the thing I would ask you, for instance, Mr. Abels, is have you, because what most people don't understand is we may have all these ideas, but the people we're talking about, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. Have you been able to pitch this kind of a thing to somebody who has some considerable, influence when it comes to decision? Because it seems kind of easy, but why is it so difficult in its implementation, or even coming up to even being considered for implementation? Why is it difficult?
This conversation is not about Buhari. This
It's not about
conversation,
Buhari. That's what I'm saying.
this conversation
Nigeria.
is about the all tiers of government. This
Yes.
conversation is about why you be in court for a political matter. In 2 days, it will be decided. For a civil matter, you'll be in court for 14 years. I've been in court for 40 years.
14 years.
This conversation is about why most of you can't ask your local government chairman, what are you doing with $1 million that you get monthly? This conversation is about why a governor will say, why my money don't come. This conversation is about why you keep
Is
quiet.
it FAC or FEC or whatever they call them?
Yes, why you keep quiet, and a local government chairman, a head of a parcel, we have something called security votes, which is
That he can't account for. Mhm.
a carryover of the money, something they use during wartime. So and there are no fixed figures. So I can make my security vote 10 billion, 5 billion, depending on how rich my state is. That's what this conversation is about. That the whole system is a mess. And it's not about names, it's not about anything. Now, but if it's not all about
Scary. It's
age.
scary. Scary. It's
Unfortunately,
scary.
unfortunately, our president is not that young, and I think he was sick for a while. So he's been a bit careful. Yeah. So that energy is not like it used to be. But
Yeah.
it's not a lot about age, because some of the younger people at the state level are obviously misbehaving completely. Yeah.
Oh
As
God.
at the local government level, they do not even exist. But every day they take from your common, every month they get from your commonwealth in excess of 500, $600,000, which they don't account to anybody. And you expect Angel Gabriel to come and fight for it. They will not. These are not angelic activities, they are human activities. So the whole place is in a mess. Is the political structure of Nigeria okay? Perfect, it is. But when a governor is running for elections, and or a politician, and is made to expend so much resources to run for election to capture that post, he will do whatever it takes to capture it, because he knows that nobody is going to ask him question after that. But if he spends that money and gets into that office, and people insist on the things to be done, just like the way we insisted on the death of Chima Ekunadu, we insisted.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, two similar incidents happened. The one in Osun State, immediately the governor spoke, something happened. AIG speak, everybody, oh, oh, oh. But the one in Rivers State, everybody criminally went quiet. But today they have released the autopsy report. And by even the officer who led them is still in the service, and people are keeping quiet. But people need
Oh
to,
my
but
goodness.
fight all the battles. Yeah, I need to pick what I need to fight. I need
You
to
need to
feed
pick
my,
your battles. You need to pick your
yes, I
battles.
can't
Yeah.
be everywhere so I don't dissipate my energy needlessly.
You need to.
So it's not about any political party or person. Now, I like it when people say not too young to run. I love it. I love when people say your PVC is power. It's not true. Your PVC is not power. Now,
How?
yes, because the political parties, one delegate in a political party determines what the whole of Nigeria will do. Now, that's why instead of allowing a political party is supposed to be a vehicle where like-minded people who have a common interest have come together. But now, when
Mm-hmm.
it's time to do leadership, somebody will say, no, it must be by delegates, meaning that he wants to control those who will be appointed.
Who?
If
Yes,
those
that's the
people
thing.
who are delegates, if they pick a pig as their candidate, that's what Nigeria will vote for. If they pick a goat, that's what Nigeria will vote for. So your PVC at that point becomes useless. So if you're disillusioned, you don't go to the ballot at all. So we
Hmm.
need to change those structures, open them up, ban those states like delegates. No, the new electoral act needs to be, and members of party must become financial members. And the laws on certain aspects are even clear that for governorship and president, you must not spend more than a certain amount. But we're all seated here looking at INEC. We have refused to go and harass INEC. That
I hear most people don't even pay. They
why
don't even
have you
pay
not,
membership due.
why have you not prosecuted those who overspent in the last elections in those parties? Has INEC done that? No.
Wow.
So instead, you keep
Wow.
hearing people say we need to set up a commission. Or every time there's a problem, we want to set up new team that will pay salaries, that will award contract. We have more than enough. All you need is leadership. Leadership. Yeah. This same structure. Are you
So
aware that
I'm listening. I'm listening.
are you aware that are you aware that each security agency, army has army intelligence, defense intelligence, they have all, navy gets. If you
Yeah,
add all the
they all have
intelligence
intelligence.
agencies,
Yeah.
yeah, you have almost, add all together, the intelligence, so I'm not talking of other arms, you
The
have close
yes,
to
yes, intelligence.
20
Yeah.
intelligence agencies. And if you create a collaboration and they know that it's mandatory, with anybody come and try that, they will not do their work.
I guess as for me, I think the issue is just you know, bringing everything into synergy. Bringing everything into synergy, because with all the things you've said, you said something. You said the need of always creating a committee when something needs to be done. You know, And I guess you mean ad hoc. So with these management committees that you're proposing, you're saying should they now be structured in such a way that they're a part of our political structure itself, or they're just a temporary palliative? What are you suggesting?
You make them permanent, people begin to fight. Because if you make them permanent, it means that you're appointing people above the ministers. So the minister now automatically have
Okay.
supervisors. Eh, This one now
So
we
what do you think
have
the time span for this should be?
for the man's tenure now. His tenure, things are going to
Okay,
get
why is
worse.
still there?
Things are going to get worse
Okay.
because his associates are going to get desperate because those who want to succeed him will begin to play all kinds of shenanigans.
Okay. Please can you answer the question on the screen, please? Do you think we need to shrink our constitution enough for better understanding and implementation of a structured governance system?
To constitution no get problem. Just tweaking, we need to tweak it here and there, maybe some small slight reforms, and there's nothing wrong with it. If you read it once, you don't understand, read it again, and ask for though if you meet three lawyers, they'll give you three different interpretations. But also nice to go back. Thank God for Google. You can go and look at Supreme Court rulings on specific matters. Then it's everything is there, but how many things have been done? When was the last time they promoted people that you found that a policeman investigated a matter, went to court, got the conviction, and promoted
And
the
he
person?
was
Yeah,
promoted,
yeah.
or he was
Look
commended.
at that kidnappers man in Lagos. Has he been convicted? How many years after? A lot of people are a lot of people are on death row. Have they signed? But it's a civic responsibility for a governor to sign. If you're uncomfortable, tell the Supreme Court, approach the judiciary to review cases so that you don't kill an innocent person. But as long as you're signing the checks, you also have the duty to sign death warrants. Them. The only person who's done it was Oshimale. The rest of them, they will tell
Yeah,
you they don't
yeah,
want to.
yeah.
You don't want to spill blood. But when it's election, you buy gun.
Oh my goodness.
And
You know, with things like this,
the people are
yes, the thing with
silent. So it
yeah,
emboldens other people. The people are silent, it emboldens other people. There's a
but
man
you know,
in Kaduna who burnt his girlfriend alive.
yes,
He's
yes,
been
I heard the
putting
news, yeah.
advertorials in papers every birthday now. Because one day you hear that he has disappeared. We are not a serious people. We need to come back and begin to
You know,
think
I think
fundamentals.
from this our discussion, and one thing I know I have um, I've come out with, as in, it's a knowledge I'm leaving this conversation with, is the fact that honestly, it's sad, but it's true. Poverty has really been weaponized, because imagine if the generality of the people had what it takes, to stand and not expect handouts. I think then people will speak out more. You know, there's this thing we used to say back in the day, if you remember, when we say so many people who don't talk when their mouths are filled. You know, sadly, those who should speak for us, most of
It's
them,
not that, right? It's the thing is that people are incapable now of critical thoughts. Those days, our parents, how much were they earning now? I remember those days, I'll be serving them beer. My father would be, and his friends would be, they were junior clerical officers. So
I know,
you see those soldiers, the smoke we call government house, as if we don't have what to do. Can you imagine that? Because they were quite
and the
educated.
standard of life,
They were
yeah,
quite
and yeah,
educated. Yeah. They had things
yeah,
to do. It's not about handout. If you can't think, you can't think. Yeah, so
you can't
that's
think
why you raise your
exactly.
hand. Yeah. Because you don't
But
know what to ask for. You have even forgotten that the challenge which you're having is caused by the refusal of the man you employ to do his job
right, this thing you
by
just
other
said is,
people. If it comes to oil now, they'll be shouting, yeah, yeah, yeah. The state has been
oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Since we have Eugene, I hope we haven't lost you. Wow. What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Monsieur Abels, where are you? Are you back? Back, back. Just a second, guys. He'll be back with temporarily lost his feed, and his feed will be back now. Okay, in the meantime, while we wait for him to join us back, yeah, I think he's up. From the things we discussed today, he's of the opinion that if was to see any change in the body language of the leadership of the nation, the president or whoever would need to set up a couple of management committees for certain sectors of the economy, and such sectors will be health, security, economy, job creation and employment, and of course education. And he gave this list of his preferred nominees without saying whatever sector they would be handling. He spoke of people like Stroyinka, Atedo Peterside, this fella, I know is Bismarck. I don't really know his name, but I think I'll check it after now. And of course, Abubakar Umar. We had people who sent in questions, and most of them were positing that the political system that brought in the present government is to blame and all of that. But Mr. Abels was able to make us understand that this discussion was not necessarily about Mr. President or any one person in power, but was about all the different tiers of government, the legislative, judiciary, and all sectors of the economy as well. So, having said that, I believe that Nigeria is turning 60. We do pray that all is well that ends well, but I think it starts with us. He posited that poverty had been weaponized, hence, you had people who couldn't think anymore for themselves. He talked about critical thinking being, a scarce commodity right now. Yes, we have him back in the studio with us to do his roundup. Yeah, Mr. Abels, we lost you temporarily, but it's good to have you back.
Yes,
So I was just telling, recapping what you said about the need for the government to set up management committees for the different sectors like health, security, economy, education, and job creation and employment, and of course, education. Um, yes, somebody has given us the name Bismarck Rewani. Say that's the guy you're
yes,
talking about. Yes, thank
yes.
you very much, Mr. Caribou, for um, giving us that bit of information. So, Eugene, back to you. These things you've said I really got me excited, and I only pray that the government will have the will to execute. We've done our best to put it out there on the World Wide Web. Hopefully, somebody will listen. But I just don't think we should end at somebody listening and giving you a mandate to ensure in the best way possible, because I have known you to be somebody who comes up with these ideas, and you have seen deliverables. We're discussing here, we used to do things back in the day in the oil sector, and without a doubt, I've always known you as a trailblazer. Back then, we're talking about 1993, 1994. You know, you were instrumental in a lot of things that happened in the oil sector while we were players in that sector. So I am appealing to you to do the best that you can to ensure that these things you have said, that you have put out there, you know, um, get to the right ears, the right decision makers who can implement. And of course, it's not as if I'm campaigning for you. Maybe you probably will be one of such, because you are that big thinker. So over to you, sir.
Well, our conversation here today is for
Yeah.
the nation in general, and
Yes.
um, and particularly for President Buhari,
Yes.
because of the 2023 elections. The game has started quite early, and his political associates and even family members, everybody wants to succeed him. And but for me, it's about his reputation, so that he can end and finish in glowing colors. This
Yes.
must be done. Now, for the states that are looking very lost, they are supposed to borrow from this model
Okay.
and also begin to do the same things. Like people like Yeson Wike, who is on his way out because this is his
Okay.
second tenure, with
Yeah.
and with unemployment rate of 3%.
Yeah.
Then he needs to change his style of government and begin to bring people on board. It's not about appointment; it's about getting results. The world has faced a pandemic. The pandemic has not gone away. It is
Yeah.
still
We still
there.
be
The
careful. Yeah.
economic uncertainty is staring at everybody. A lot of people that are talking about hunger day. We used to queue for milk and sugar in 1984
Esenko.
when Buhari
Esenko.
was there.
Yeah.
And Buhari, as a young man with David West, introduced swap, whereby they take crude, swap it, and bring petrol, and they built a
Yes.
refinery. Yes,
Yeah.
because he was younger. Now, so this is not the first time we'll be hungry, but it might be worse because nobody's going to come to your aid because the people who are supposed to aid you also need aid.
Oh my goodness
Yeah.
gracious.
So the nation, the local government chairman we must in the village begin to make a demand on them. If they don't behave, if we have to flog them, we flog them. And for 10 years, the president needs to sign the Electoral Act, the reformation of the Electoral
Electoral
Act.
Reform Act. Yes.
He
Yes.
needs to
Yes.
sign it. Yeah.
That's
And
that's another
and
thing that needs to be brought into
but
view.
I don't think he will go with what he has allowed to happen in Edo so far. uh, we cannot continue like this for people to lose hope.
Hmm.
Once people lose hope in the system, you head to a state of anon.
Edo State is
I
another ball game
remember when
entirely.
I was warning people in 1983. They would say, leave, wait till the MPN power, MPN power. 1983, I remember. Now there's a cartoon that is out, or whatever you will call it, meme or whatever,
It's a meme,
where
yeah.
you see Kaduna, southern Kaduna, you see a truckload of policemen heading
Yeah.
towards it. Then you see Edo, you see 30,000 policemen going to conduct a
Policemen going
civic
to conduct
election.
civic election,
That's
yeah.
the kind of nation we are. We must change this paradigm shift.
We
We
must
must
change
change
the
how we
commentary must
get
change. The
out of
commentary
this
change.
box. We
The
must get
commentary
out
needs
of
to
this
change.
box and begin to do things properly. We must sit down. First of all, Nigeria must come to realization that we have a problem. Exchange rate now in black market is about 430 naira to the dollar. Where are you going to
Mm.
get? How long can CBN sustain it? There's a problem. We need to come out and change how we do things. Everybody must roll their sleeves. Don't tell the people to sacrifice if
And you're
you
not
do
ready
not,
to. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah,
if you are not
exactly.
doing that which you need to do. And they need to do, if you want security to work, all the political appointees that are ministers, one car and one backup car, nothing more than that. After all, and you don't have more than two policemen covering you, not more than two.
Exactly.
Government has
Yeah.
not more than five. Yes, not more than five. So you do the peripheral work, not to be following them all over the place. No, you go and do intelligence work to prevent.
Exactly.
Yes, if anything
Exactly.
happens, they will execute you. Yes,
Exactly.
anything happens there, bitch, you are held accountable. That's what I remember when Babangida asked Inspector General of Etimaya, where is Anini? The following week, Anini was brought out.
I didn't it was brought out. I was I
Yes.
was I was very
So
well
it's
in the
time
know
for
then.
Buhari to ask, what's the Burutai? Where is Shekau?
This is another thing you've said, and it's true. I think even the leaders, they should start asking pertinent questions, because
You
I
set
think
targets. You must
yeah,
set targets. If you don't set
yes,
targets,
it's
you,
like
for instance,
banks now. It's like
if
bank,
I
how
tell the
banks used to
CBN, if
operate.
I tell the CBN governor, you must bring inflation down to X amount. You have 6 months to do that. How you do it, I don't care. He will look for whatever policies, experts. He will do everything possible
You see,
to make
that's
sure
where
that it
that's you see. Let me just say something. That's where body language comes in, because even the people who are working under the president himself, They just know that even if they go out of the reservation and do anything wrong, nothing happens. It's just like a parent with your kids in the house. When they know that you threaten and you do not follow through, nothing happens. You know, so like you talked about why the banking sector is likely successful. If they give you targets, you don't meet them, you face consequences.
Of
You
course,
know, you face consequences. So I think one of the things moving forward too is to ensure that, you know, your body language should not be that of just latitude, like nothing matters. You've always spoken on this. I'm happy you brought up this thing. You always talk about the role sleeve approach, and not just the one that everybody wears agbada and we're all relaxed.
look at what happened to the EFCC man. Why will you
Exactly,
remove the EFCC man? Is now you are investigating him.
exactly.
Is that
So
a
this is
serious crime?
this is the body. This is the body language. It doesn't tell
Yeah.
of seriousness.
You would have concluded your investigations and suspend him. As you're suspending him, he's a policeman. He goes to the guard room, and if you are dismissing him, if you think he's guilty, you dismiss him and you prosecute him. But
Exactly.
look at the drama that we're seeing. We can't keep doing this. We're
Yes,
abusing institutions. Yeah. It's not a PDP or APC thing. Yeah. Look at
it's
what
not.
happened in River State. A governor locks up NLC building. In the first place, why will you build a secretariat for labor? Those labor who took them on their throats. Why would they build?
And
So
so
he who pays the piper. The piper
dictates
now,
to,
he went and locked the house now. Now
yeah,
you have
lying
they've
built house.
now you have unlocked it. Nothing. The
It's
act
just
of unlocking it is sufficient for you for litigation. It's
exactly.
sufficient.
It's just
Yeah.
like something that recently happened, right? It's been on for some time, but I guess I'm taking notice of it. But well, I just let it slide. But it just came into my consciousness the other day. Why would the company buy patrol vehicles for the police?
Yeah.
Actually, no. Let me just finish what I'm saying. A company buys patrol vehicles for the police. The patrol vehicles for the police are branded with the company's logo and all that. And the company definitely they do things on the road, right? So I'm thinking if the company's vehicle is involved in an accident or is at fault or runs through the traffic light or something, will that branded police vehicle and the occupants arrest the driver of that company's vehicle? That's the
Does he want
question because
does he want to it's akin to when a judge collects 150 million for a house.
that's what is fundamentally wrong with us. And that's why it seems as if I don't know, did you watch this thing about Uganda where I think the video has been trending for the last couple of days when the president was giving a State of the Nation address in the parliament and half the people were sleeping. And there's this opera and all that. If they're not willing to serve, if they're not this, they're not that. And like I'm thinking, it's like right now, the way it operates in Nigeria, from my own perspective, is I've got two tenures. I see them through. Probably I'm governor, and from them I can go to the Senate. The Senate, I don't think there's any exit point in terms of the number of terms you can go there. So when this is done and these people continue like this, and it seems as if there's a dearth of people who can come out to stand for election because till further notice, we're a democratic system, right? So we're going into a new dispensation in the next couple of years. There will be no change if we have the same people being recycled. So good as this management committee might suffice for this time, I also believe that we should, and I don't know if you'll be in agreement, we should have more town hall meetings. You were talking about the constitution of the country. I remember a couple of years ago, Eugene, when you brought up this idea of people being schooled on what the constitution is all about so they will know their rights, they will understand the social contract. How many people bought into that idea? See, this kind of conversation you're having now here with me, it will not interest the generality of people. They know the things that interest them. So at the end of the day, maybe we're coming back to what Wabi said, that people deserve the leaders that they get. If it's
Exactly.
maybe if it's a giveaway being done and all of that, or something that has to do with popular culture, people will rush towards it. But when it has anything to do with governance and all that, I think it's the concern of just a particular few. So for me, I just think that the things you've said today, hopefully the right people get to listen to this. And I'm this kind of a person, I will not separate governance with spirituality. I pray that guys like you that have good intentions and good thoughts about Nigeria would ultimately be in a position to lead us someday. Because are we ready to be led? Yes. Do we have the right people? Yes. But are they where they should be? I'm afraid not. Because somebody said here a couple of weeks ago, is well known to you, Mr. Wally. He said, at a point when this whole, like in 1999, when it was to start, so many of you, I know people like you were part of it too. You didn't think it was worth your while. You just left it to them. But now, this is the outcome of having left it to them. So I pray people like your ilk will begin to rise up and take the bulls by the horn and just do what is right for this nation. Not by way of a revolt, as somebody said last week, but I think it should be a brain revolt, a thinking revolt. So we might have a thinking nation eventually. So, last words from you. I'm so grateful. It was such short notice. You know me now, they like to wahala you. And you've had a very tough day. I know you're just walking into your hotel room a couple of minutes before we started. So I know you're tired. I need to let you go. But before you go, I'll just like you to just say final words.
Well, the everything comes back to us. If I remember correctly, while we were year one students, we were the hotbed of those who do the
Oh, I'm so
rioting.
sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Mr. Eugene. Can you just take this question out? This guy, Ezekiel, he's still, because he
Mm.
actually wrote two things. The He said this suggested management committee, can they recurse to the previous confab, that the previous confab said a lot of things. What do you think about this? Sorry.
Yeah. The issue here, the management committee, the resolutions of the confab is they're structural in nature. That's not what we're talking about here. It doesn't mean that they're
Okay.
not ready. They are, but what we're talking about here is that we're in trouble. How do we get out of the current mess in which we are?
Yeah.
Because it's going to get worse. Yeah, it's going to get worse. So, and Zika Karibu has contributed a lot.
A
Very
lot.
valuable questions and contributions has been raising. But there's going to be, we're talking about, we're in the midst of an economic recession. We're producing substandard graduates. The fundamental, even just if we're saying that just the basics of governance is not being done. So we just need something to run, to let the government begin to run so that things can begin to fall in place with clear cut
Yeah.
objectives before you begin to talk about structures and
Yeah.
reformations as with what we have, making them work. Because once you're spending money, you're supposed to get result for what you're spending money for. Because
Hmm.
people salary, they should account for their time. And
Hmm.
if you take your child and drop your child in front of the school after paying school fee, and you don't ensure that the child goes into the class,
Whatever
and
happens is your
you
business.
don't check the homeworks, the child will just go to the next compound riding bicycle. You've paid school fees. So that's what's happening in Nigeria. That's what we're saying, that we need to
Yeah.
get government to work. And for government to work,
Must
right
follow
now,
through.
without blaming anybody. We need to compartmentalize the government in sections
Hmm.
and set up teams that will be critical. They're showing you statistics and figures that this is where you are. We want to go from A to B. This is where your
B.
peers, this is what your peers are doing on the region. This is what your peers are doing in the whole of Africa. This is what your peers are doing globally. This is how you have to go there. So if you have to hire people, you hire them. But you're being measured. Daily, you will see the results. They'll be staring at you, whether you're doing well or you're not doing well.
You're not doing
If you,
well. Oh,
so that's the way for me. Then when
thank
we have running the basics of running a government, then we can begin to talk about structural issues, what to reform and what those things naturally will come up.
They will
And
come.
like
They will come up eventually. Yeah.
the speaker has rightly pointed out, they can now refer to what resolutions the ethnic nationalities had recommended at the confab. So first of all,
Thank you very, very much.
Nigerians need to admit that they have a problem, that we have a problem, and that we are not solving the problem, that we're sitting in a box, and we need to come out of the box to solve the problem.
Hmm.
Leadership at all levels, as contrary constituted, have not shown capacity to resolve this issue. We might need to spot them, to check them out of shock, so that they
Mm-hmm.
can begin to do things which needs to be done. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you very much. For those of us listening, for those of us that stayed this long, Ezekiel, thank you very much. Emeka Ezekwe, thank you for all your contributions. Um, our take home should be that we are in trouble, whether we like it or not. And like you just said now, Mr. Abel, there's no need trying to put the cart before the horse. We must put the horse before the cart. And by doing this, we'll be putting the management committee first in place because that's expedient before we talk about other things. And I hope everything will fall into place in due season and as soon as possible. But at the end of the day, coming out of this season, we'll be indeed be able to say all is well that ends well with Nigeria. Eugene Bells, Mr. Eugene Bells, thank you very much. Thank you for coming on today. I know you're always there whenever we call, and for this, I'm grateful. God bless you. And to all those who always come in, we say thank you for joining us. Till next week. Good night.
If them think for oil, even if them burn the oil, Nigeria go survive. I say if them drink the oil, no matter how